Hello, everybody. This is Paul Herman, the Prince of Motivation and host of Zaka Presents My Journey. We're creating this vulnerable and positive platform where you can get inspired and motivated from different leaders from our community. Today, our guest is Marie Yolaine Toms. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited.
The pleasure is all ours. I know there's a lot of information that we're going to be dropping down in this podcast right here. But before we get into all the great accolades and also those hardships as well, do me a big favor. Help out our community right now. Give us a little bit of an understanding of your background and where you grew up.
Sure. So my name is Marie-Yolaine, and I am a restorer of dignity to vulnerable and exploited communities in Haiti who desire self-sufficiency through entrepreneurship. I was born in Port-au-Prince, and I came to this country as an extroverted, outgoing, funny kid with my overprotective but well-meaning Haitian parents. And I remember I was in the third grade. Let's see, yep, because we had moved. So I was in the third grade and I was cast in this play, Hansel and Gretel.
Mm,
And I was cast,
classic.
okay? So I was cast as Gretel, and on stage, it hits me like, this is my jam. This is my thing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I run home with all my fourth grade enthusiasm. And I get to the door and I run the door and I run into the kitchen and I say, Mommy, I'm going to be an actor.
Uh-oh, here we go. Break it down, us.
And she looked at me and she said, Kisa, what? Actor? Kisa said, no, no. But I was, no. And like the general of the Caribbean Mother's Army, she broke down my options.
Mm,
Doctor,
let's go.
lawyer, engineer.
Hmm.
Let's see, what was the other one? Doctor, lawyer, engineer. Um, what was another one? Oh, teacher.
Oh, yeah, you got to throw that in there.
Right. And none.
Whoa, I didn't hear that one. I didn't hear that one coming. A nun. You could have been on Sister Act then. Tell her that.
I, somebody should have told me. So I look over at my dad for like, help me here. And he looks at me and he says, no, baby, be safe. Remember, you are Haitian and you are a girl. I felt myself shrinking in that moment. And it seemed like everywhere I looked, in the community, on TV, newspaper, everywhere was telling me to shrink. That who I was, female, Black, Haitian, were liabilities.
Mm,
And that is when the real me shrank and the imposter me was born.
So, and backtracking, both of your parents are Haitian.
Yes, my mother
Okay.
was born in Jacmel in La Vallée, and my dad in Petit Guave, and I was born in Port-au-Prince.
Mm, mm. And this story took place in Haiti, or did it take place in the States?
In the States, I came here when I was 5.
Mm,
So I went through first grade, second grade, third grade. And interestingly enough, I did not speak English for like 3 years. And back then they had what was called full immersion, right? Now I call it torture. But so there was no ESL, there was no nothing. So I just sat in the back of the class. But I did used to run home after class and go and watch the Electric Company, Zoom, Sesame
mhm.
Street, and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Come
That
on,
that is
classics.
how that is how I learned how to speak English. And it's funny, in my family, they say it all the time. It was like for 3 years she didn't talk. Then she started talking and she never stopped. And it's true.
Well, hey, look, that's why you wanted to become an actress, you know. But I'm glad you kind of bringing up the thing about but first and foremost, thank you for just sharing that story right there. I think that's a lot of the thought leaders that have come on have shared a story similar to that. But I like how you're
Mm.
saying that English was learned through TV mainly, right? Obviously, you have immigrant parents that probably speak a
Yes.
little bit of English or to no English at all, right? And then being able to come home, we I know I we sometimes take for granted how we are going to learn, and I think that TV was a way of doing it, right? Obviously, TV nowadays and media is a little bit different,
Mhm.
but I think that you're
A little
100% right.
bit.
The Mister Rogers, the Sesame Streets, that was a way of learning, you know. So, and if our immigrant parents couldn't afford to give us an opportunity to take another class or a course, we were going to learn through the TV. There's been several other thought leaders that talk about that experience of becoming a little bit more fluent in English or the culture of the American culture because of TV. So I think during that time, you know, Family Matters and all these hanging with Mr. Coopers and Full Houses and stuff like that, then we learned a lot from those moments in time. So thank you for sharing that because that was an era of television that really made a difference in a lot of cultures. Not thinking about it as much, but not thinking about it, it also influenced and impacted that immigrant culture as well because we were going through it as well. So thank you for sharing that. You
100%.
know,
Mhm.
and talk to us a little bit more about this Haitian culture because everyone identifies in their own way. Like, how do you identify being a Black Haitian woman? What's the culture like? What's the vibe like?
I would say that Haiti started as soon as I came home. Like I feel like I was living like a duplicitous existence
Mm-hmm.
because in my house, Haiti was 24/7. So if I went to school and I hung out with my little friends and I did whatever, but as soon as I came in the house, for example, I thought everybody's house was 85 degrees year round. I
The
didn't know.
temperature in the
Yes,
house.
I just thought that. And of course, Haitian parents, you can't do sleepover, you can't go nowhere, you can't do nothing. So when they came at me with you know, why do you want to go to somebody else's house? Are they your family? Do they know you? Do we know them? So that was the end of that. But
Mm,
eventually, I was able to go like to school, to college. And man, when I tell you, I think the first time I went to a place that was 65 degrees, I literally was like, is something wrong? Is your thing broken? Because it's freezing in here, right? But because my dad was always in shorts and a tank top, right? And I think about him now because he would have been glued to the TV for the Mondial, for the World Cup. Like when the World Cup happened, it was all over the house. It was in the bathroom, it was in the kitchen, it was everywhere because he was
mm-hmm,
watching every single game. So for me, I feel like they kept the culture, they kept it going. And when we came, it was multiple families who came together, right? So all my
mm-hmm,
cousins came, and it was mainly my mother's family. So she had two sisters, two brothers, so it was five of them. So everybody kind of moved to the same location in DC. So my cousins were my friends. And so we were always at everybody's house. Every birthday was celebrated, right? And the food. There's nothing you can say about Haitian food except that it is elite cuisine. That's all that you can
mm,
say because
mm.
it's
Okay,
undisputed.
okay.
It's
You hear that,
it's undisputed.
listeners? You better dive in. Find yourself a nice little Haitian restaurant after this.
Yeah, it's undisputed. We don't even have to say it. Other people. I'm not even saying this because I'm Haitian. I'm saying this
Okay.
because it's the fact.
I've been hearing it's a mixture of a whole bunch of Caribbean islands. I heard like some of the Latin culture has some good food. I know Jamaican culture has good food. The Haitian culture has good. So I
We
mean,
respect everyone. We just know the truth. You understand what I'm saying to you, right?
okay, I respect that. I
Yeah,
respect that. I
facts and truth. They can be together, and we can appreciate, right? But I'm just saying, I feel like other folks have different things too that are very good because I'm a foodie myself. But let me tell you, there's there's never going to be a time in my life when I'm offered Haitian food that I'll be like, no, thank you. Never. Never, 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 never. So my mom with the guyo, with the pickles, with the white rice, with the black sauce, with the poulet en
mm,
sauce. Listen, I could be here all day just talking about Haitian food. So
you getting me hungry
that
right now.
okay. So that culture for me was important. My dad was very it was interesting actually. My dad was very Haiti chéri. He loved Haiti to his heart. My mother suffered much more. So for her, it was Haiti Kaze, Haiti is broken. And so it was interesting living in a house where it was like polar opposites of
Hmm.
that. And so I didn't understand what had happened to her until I was older, and to understand the colorism that she suffered, as being called a mulatto, being called white, um, that my father, who was the other extreme, being darker, that um, he was called names. So colonization did a number on us, um, that I think is still being reverberated to this day. I remember the first time I went back as an adult, and somebody called me blanc, um, because my hair was blown out at the time. And I was like, I'd never been called white in my life.
Mm,
And so that, just that concept. So I just felt like I was American when I was outside my house, and I was Haitian when I was at home and with my family. So it was food. My father, he was a history buff. If it wasn't for him, I would know 98% of the things that I know about my country.
mm,
He's the one who gave me the love I have for my country, was my dad.
mm,
So
mm,
he would say,
mm.
Haiti is not the perfect country, but it's my country. And I'd repeat that to other people. If they had some kind of, well, Haiti's this, Haiti's that, still your country though. So
Yeah,
what do
true,
we
true,
think?
true. Was there a moment in your childhood when you realized that service would become a part of your purpose?
My father modeled that for me, right? Like typical Haitian culture, we moved. At one point, there's three families in our one bedroom apartment.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, my dad has been that guy, and I've watched him be that, and my mother too, where family would come stay with us, and they would get acclimated, get jobs, and then they would move, right? And then another family would come, right? And this would all part of our families, our uncles and our aunts, etc. So I've been in Combit, in Laku, for my whole life. So I only know community. I only know service, right? And the majority of my cousins are all in like the service industry in one way or the other. And so seeing that, it's funny you asked that, because I don't think I like pinpointed it, because I was born into it. So even though I watched my dad like work three jobs, and there are times I realized that my brothers, who I'm 7 years older than them, didn't get to see him for probably the first year of their lives. I saw him early in the morning when he would walk into the room and rub their heads in their cribs, and then he would go to work, and then he wouldn't come home till 11, and then he would go and rub their heads again because they would be asleep. So working hard, work ethic, education, um, community, those are the things that, until I had something to compare them to, I just thought that that was how everybody was doing it.
Mm, mm, mm. And you're 100% correct on that. Obviously seeing our grandparents and our parents navigate through life, right? Keeping their head down, working the 2 to 3 jobs, you know, not making it look easy, but not making it look hard, right? And we kind of get sidetracked and think about society nowadays where people are like, I don't even want to work one job, right? we go don't I see you lean right into the screen. You said, Paul, they don't even want to work one job, let alone how our grandparents and parents were try to make ends meet and work 3 jobs, right? And doing it every day for years on end, right? And not complaining. Just be like, oh, this is life, right? So you see a difference in the American culture. You definitely see a big difference in the immigrant culture and how the immigrant culture really respects and understands the value of hard work and like really like, you know, working through the grit, and really figuring it out. And then sometimes in the American culture, it's more, laid back. Like we're figuring it out. I don't need to work. I could probably get a job just off of social media versus us on the other end, we're like, we got to put our feet to the ground and things in our hands, and we need to be putting in some work. So it's amazing to see that, and that's why they wanted us to be doctors or lawyers and all this, a nurse, a teacher. I don't know about a nun just yet, but that was something on the pipeline that they were like, that's a new one that hopefully I hear it again somewhere. Maybe it's only the Haitian culture that wanted that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna figure out. So after this whole, you said DC, your parents and all that, all learn all these life lessons. You learned some more life lessons when you went on to college. Now, I know you went on to Howard University, one of the top universities when it comes to the HBCU universities and stuff like that. And I know, and obviously, when you go to college, you learn about yourself, you learn about leadership, you learn about your identity. How did this kind of influence your life and kind of get you that the wings to fly after college?
It's interesting because when I got accepted into Howard, I was so happy because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna live on campus. I'm gonna get this life that, I've been waiting for 12 years, my entire life. And I was so excited. I remember I came home one day and my mother's sister helping brings her the bus schedule and tells her that I don't have to live on campus because the bus can drop me off. Exactly. Exactly. That is exactly the face I had. I was like, yo, this is third grade, fourth grade, all over again. I'm running home like,
As an adult?
I'm gonna live on campus. I'm gonna do all these things, right? Because as I'm sure you've heard a million times, l'école, l'église, la caille. It's school, it's church, it's home. That's it. Okay. So epi, that's it. So for me to again be like, okay, I'm gonna get this thing. And then I get in and my aunt's like, yeah, she doesn't have to live there because of this. And I already mapped out the thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
And mind you, that's a 3 hour journey. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that.
I was like,
Thank you, Auntie, but that's 3 hours.
listen, you're not even, I'm blocking you out right now. So I actually told them that freshmen had to live on campus. I don't know if it's true or not. It's too late now. Anyway, that's
You
what I
were
told them.
acting. You see, your acting skills got to work with you.
It's called improvisation, and I did.
Okay, improv. You see that? You figured it out. You were like, look, you're not gonna send me to school over there. I'm gonna use it again on y'all.
So I get to Howard, and oh my gosh, it is everything I thought it was going to be. I'm in DC. I'm at the Mecca. I've never seen so many Black people in my life. It's awesome. Haitians, Jamaicans, like everybody, Africans. It is everything that I thought it was going to be. So I'm having a great time. I'm majoring in business administration. I have all these hopes and dreams and everything else. Because I was supposed to be the nun situation, I decided that I was going to be behind the camera and study communication since they wouldn't let me in front of the camera. Okay, fine. Took a safe job, made myself invisible. The imposter syndrome kept going until about 83, I think it was. And that is when, actually in 83 was when the CDC had listed that they wouldn't accept blood from Haitians because of AIDS, right?
Mm.
So it was like hemophiliacs. I think it literally was like criminals, hemophiliacs, animals, Haitians. And interestingly enough, the Haitian population in the DMV, the District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia, was very like spread out, as opposed to New York, that was just like Haitian Central, right?
Yeah.
So multiple things were happening at the same time. So that had happened, and then that continued. And then around 90, 91, the New Yorkers had shut down the Brooklyn Bridge to protest. And I was part of the Haitian Student Association at Howard and was like, we have to do something. And so my friends in New York were like, we're coming down there, we're going to shut that down. I was like, bring it, and we are going to shut it down. So we shut
Mm.
down most of DC. And the leadership that I learned in this experience of mobilizing people, always serving, right? Mobilizing people, getting people together, logistics. And I was giving speeches on the mall. And we protest hard that they did remove us in the 90s from this list. So even with what is going on now with the TPS, with the blatant disrespect at the World Cup, I don't think these people understand that we're built for this. Do you understand?
Come on, years and years of it.
Yeah, generations, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is not our first time at the rodeo. I think it's just important for people to grasp the fact that what we have overcome as a people, this is lineage, this is legacy. Like it's the same blood as Dessalines that's in my veins. There's no difference. So it's like we are built for this. Do we want to be resilient 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? No, we do not. Sometimes Black girl tired, she wants to take a nap.
True that. Okay. But you
So,
are right. The blood is in you. The
so,
legacy is in you.
so the leadership, I was always that. I was always the kid on the yard that was organizing the hide and go seek. I was the one that folks were asking advice from. I was the one that was the problem solver. So this was just another, I feel, opportunity for me. And Howard created the environment for the opportunities, for the experiences, for the classes, for the international engagement with people from everywhere, that prepared me, I believe. I believe it prepared me literally for everything that I'm doing right now.
And then after college, you landed a very big job, right? You tapped into something that a lot of people are always trying to find is that career job, that big dream job. Like, especially as an immigrant or a second generation immigrant, our parents are like, you got to go to college and you got to get a job, right? But not just any job, the
Right.
job, right? It has to be higher than them times five. They put too much pressure on us already. Like, look, you got to, if we're making this amount of money, you need to be making five times more of that. So the pressure is on. So you land this big drop, sorry, this big job. I believe it was at American Express. Is that correct?
You sound like he would say, you do. Because when I said that, Daddy, I want to be like you, he was like, no, you cannot be like me. You have to go faster. You have to go further. And your kids have to go further than you. I was like, take the compliment, man. Like, can you?
He's like, nah, we moving.
No, he literally was just like, no, not like me. No. I was like, okay, got it. I
Got it. Got it. Okay, I'm out. I'm trying to give you a compliment, Dad.
yeah, it was a kind of a catch-22 because I had left school and I was all excited to start my new life and I had been through some things. Okay. Like I'm a graduate, and if I don't graduate, nobody's graduating. Like I'm getting out of here. Okay. There was not any more. I already knew Sally Mae was waiting for me. Okay. Waiting. So I was like, I'm gonna spend my summer. I'm going to go see friends. I'm going to go do all sorts of things, and then I'm going to start my job. Well, I was playing tennis with some friends, and at some point I zigged when I should have zagged, and I hurt. And the next thing I knew, I was on the ground. And I'm looking up at them, they're looking down at me, and they're terrified. And I look down and I realize my foot is just dangling off of my ankle. I had ruptured my Achilles tendon. So now I start crying because I'm freaked out. So they rushed me to the hospital in Baltimore at this point and are like, listen, we're going to patch you up as best we can, but you need to get to your local hospital within 24 hours or you will be crippled for the rest of your life.
Oh no.
Oh, no is right. I cried all the way home. So I'm like, okay. The next day, I hobble myself over to the university hospital and I get up to the counter and I'm like, Miss, this is what happened. They told me I have to get here and I need help. And my leg, I'm just like all over the place. And she was like, are you a student here? And I said, no, my only bright, shining moment. I said, no, I just graduated. And she kept typing and she was like, oh, well, then we can't serve you because you don't have no insurance. I freaked all the way out. Like I lost it. I started screaming.
Mm.
I was like, Miss, because now I'm hearing crippled for the rest of my life. So I'm like, Miss, I don't have any money. And now I'm mad at myself because I'm just like, nobody ever taught me about money. I don't have any savings. I'm freaking out. And I was like, what do I do? She looks up from her keyboard and she cocks her head and she says, next.
Oh no.
So I disappeared, apparently, from her. I hobbled home and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be crippled for the rest of my life. And a friend called me and she was just like, you need to go back. I was like, all my dignity is gone, girl. I'm shredded. She's like, you need to go back. I go back, and it was like the demon shift went on a break and the angel shift was on deck. And the woman said, oh, you've only been graduated for less than 30 days, so you're still covered. And so let's get you some help. But during that time, it became clear to me that this money thing, this money trauma, this money ignorance, this illiteracy, this was a problem. And as I sat there in my cast, I was like, I can either go curse everybody out, and I felt like that was my right, or I could move forward and really understand this. So I ordered everything, read every book, and then 3 months later, before I started my job, I actually created a whole system and used that system to get debt free, paid everything off, told Sally Mae to forgive, forget, lose my number, never call me again, and went on to be.
That's a big accomplishment right there.
Yeah, you don't understand. I'm walking down the street telling people I'm debt free, like strangers, because I was so happy with myself. And
That's a beautiful feeling to have, and especially as an first and second generation, being immigrant background, being black, being Haitian, like all the things that you're hearing about stuff in the media and your life growing up and all the things that you've gone through to be like, okay, that's one of the biggest things in the American culture, not even just in immigrant culture, in the American culture is to be debt free, right? That's something that they pride themselves on, owning land, owning stuff, and being debt free, right? Versus on the immigrant culture, we're like, all right, whatever we got to do to stay in school, to keep the job, we're going to keep on adding in those bills. But again, no one is there to tell us how to be that financial literacy, like using credit to actually get ahead versus using it in the wrong way. And that's that story right there is already very alarming because, like you said, you graduate from college, you're like, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. And even after doing all of that, someone's still sitting in front of you saying, we're not going to help you. And you're like, I just graduated from one of the top universities, right? Like, what else do you? And that's like a moment of like when you get hit, where you're like, I did everything my parents told me to do, and everything that I knew I could do physically in my own way, and still, even with a college degree, I'm still not getting the services that I need. But that just goes to show you, sometimes it's being graduate from a university. If you don't have the skill sets such as like financial literacy, you still can't get ahead.
Mike Tyson said, everybody got plans till you get punched in the face. And that getting
I got plans.
That's it. So you're just like, oh, I'm
he,
gonna go.
he would say something like that.
And it's true. It's true. Think about it. The moment that happened, it put my whole life in a different trajectory when it was, oh, here are my plans, I'm gonna do this, and oh, I may never walk again. That kind of changes everything. And I knew that. And again, I don't know if you're aware of this, but roughly 75% of Americans don't have an emergency savings. 85% don't have any savings. So they are one car problem, heater, boiler problem from a catastrophe and a crisis. Because the issue here is keeping up with the Joneses.
True.
Right? And I did that. Like at Howard, I got all the credit cards because they were like candy. So I got them all, but nobody told me how to use them. I mean, think about it. You go to school for 12 years. How many financial literacy classes did you have from first grade to 12th grade? A grand total of 0. If you went to community college, 0 continues. Then maybe you go into a 4-year. Again, 0, right?
Yeah.
So we're taught how to make money and to spend money, but that's incorrect. We're supposed to make money, save money, invest money, give money, then spend money. Because if you make money and you spend money, you're not going to be able to do the other three. That's what I
Yeah.
know now, and that is what I teach now. So getting to American Express, which I think was ironic because it was a credit card company that I would be working in, but getting there, it was the dream job to move to New York and to work in a place where I knew that I was going to get more access to leadership skills. So that's what made me excited to be around that kind of environment.
And then something happened in 2010. I believe it was the earthquake in Haiti. That made you say, I have to do this. Was that at the same time?
I was at American Express actually for 7 years, actually. Yeah, it was right after 9/11 that I moved to New York. So it was about 7 years before that happened. And I remember this because I was leaving work and I was on my way back to Brooklyn where I lived. And as I was coming up from the subway, my cell phone was like blowing up. Where are you? Are you okay? Oh my God, are you seeing this? And I run home and I turn on the TV and my eyes are salted with scenes of utter devastation. People are in the streets, covered in debris, blood everywhere. And I see this elderly woman laying on the ground. Her back is completely exposed. And I start screaming at the TV. Why is no one covering her up? That's somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother. Why is no one covering her up? Like, are we not doing human dignity anymore? God, somebody needs to go and do something. And just like you're hearing my voice right now, I hear, you go. I'm like, what? Me go? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I don't have a nonprofit. I'm not an engineer. Silence. I didn't know what to do because I didn't feel called. I didn't feel qualified. But in that moment, I knew who would. My dad. If he had been alive, he would have been on the next plane out. And in that moment, I knew what I would do. So I submitted my resignation and I was on the next plane out.
That's deep. To leave something that's stable, something that is not affected by that, right? But your heart was.
Because it's personal. I
Yeah.
could have written a check. And I'm not knocking anybody who wrote a check, but this was my family. Petit Gua was one of the epicenters that was hit. That's my dad's hometown. There's no way I was going to send a check. I had to go myself.
Yeah. Nah, I commend you for that because that's a very hard thing to do, and one to be around it to see that. It's not like it's like one or two people. We're talking about a whole country
Yeah.
being hit,
Yeah.
right? So like every corner got something going on. Everyone's looking for something. It's the food, the water, just basic human things. Like you said, covering her up, right? So to just leave your job, and I know members of your job were probably like, well, what, girl? But again, Haiti's your country. That's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Haitian to the
literally,
bone.
that's literally what I said. This is personal. It's my family. I'm called. I gotta go.
This
Like
is it.
I
And
have
I
to
hope everybody could do the same thing for their country.
listen. This is what I'm saying. Heeding the call on your life is not even about you. Because when I got there, one thing I remember clearly is that when people heard that Zeb, that when his daughter was in town, that's when I really found out who my dad was because of all the people he had helped. And he used to say, live your life right for your children. And I didn't understand it then. But the fact of the people who were trying to help me because my dad had given them a ride in his cab. My dad had helped them with their wedding. My dad had comforted them. Mind you, so we're clear, he's typical Haitian father. He says 2 words a year, right? We used to call him Methuselah. We're
Oh
like,
my
two
gosh.
words, 2 words, right? I'm like, I feel like you and Moses were on the same JV basketball team because you don't talk, right? But apparently he was talking to everybody else and helping everybody else. But okay.
But
So
in the house, it was different.
in the
I
house,
get.
it was like, do this, do that, go to school. Yeah. I was like, okay. So I learned all of these things about him and the people that he had helped, which made my life make total sense of who I am and who I who I became, I should say, right? So I get down there, I meet the people I'm supposed to meet, I come back, and I create community to community. And our whole mission is development with dignity. And now, 16 years later, we attract people with a heart for generosity to do the exact same thing. And that is to restore dignity, because everyone can do that. And that's why I'm saying it's not even about you. Heeding the call on your life is about all of the people's lives you will touch for the good. That's why when you hear the call, if you don't believe that you're qualified, don't worry about that. When you get the call, heed the call.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
God will take care of the rest.
Heed the call to play it small.
That's it. I could have just stayed in my cubicle.
True that. So that got you to open up community to community. But what about Focus Fire?
So Focus Fire happened because of when I was sitting in that bed with that cast, and I realized that this is not working. This can't be my life. That money or the lack of knowledge about it is going to put me in this situation where at any time the rug can be pulled out from under me. So once I realized that, I created the system. It's literally the class rather is called 4 Keys to Master Your Money Without a Budget You Hate. Because you know what people hate? Budgets.
True.
They hate.
Restrictions.
See, second word that comes out of everybody's mouth is
Yeah,
I don't want to be restricted. Okay. So let me,
but you need to have structure if you're gonna work on saving, if you're gonna work on giving, if you're gonna work on doing all those other things.
so if anything, I used to have this friend named Josefa. And when I met her, I felt like she was a lot. But she was like, Juno, do you want to be my friend? I was like, I didn't say anything to that effect, but she wore me down. We became friends. And I remember how when we would go out together, she would be like, I don't like this dress. I don't like this guy. I don't like this. Don't like this. I'm like, oh my God, is there anything you like? And when I was going to go to college, I told her I didn't think I could afford it, so I don't think I'm going to go. And she was like, Maria Conchita, you are going to college. We are going to figure it out. And do you know what? We did. We filled out the Pell Grants, did everything, and I was able to go to school. The way I feel about Josefa is the way you should feel about your budget. It may say no to you, but it's because it's trying to protect you,
True.
not restrict you, because eventually it will say yes. It might not be the way you want it, like you want the car now? No. But 6 months from now, if you save X to get Y, you can have the car. You can go on the trip to Italy. You can do all of those things. You may not like to be restricted, but do you like peace of mind? Do you like waking up not feeling like you owe anybody nothing? Yeah. The budget actually releases you to go live your life.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
thought that it's restricted, but it's not. I sleep quite well. The month already set up, bills are paid. I can go do other things now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, that's right.
working. That's the purpose of Focus Fire for me is,
Mhm.
and oh man, did I have my phone? you just said something that just reminded me of something. One of my clients texted me today, had me all in my feelings. I was crying. And he said, thank you for Focus Fire. I've had tears multiple times during our one-on-ones. The financial freedom that I'm achieving, I sometimes can't put into words because of the feeling. I'm at 10 credit cards at zero and will be 16 at zero by August. Last year at this time, I was lost financially.
Well, first off, 16 credit cards.
This is a regular in my class. There are people who have 22.
Jeez.
There are
Dang.
people who have 30.
I mean, but if you got to leverage it, you know what I'm saying? As long as you know how to leverage it in the right way, it makes sense. But if